Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent. The channel is EOS San Diego or Bitcoin EOS San Diego, whatever you want to refer it to, however you want to refer to it as Bitcoin, and of course a little bit about EOS. And if you're interested in EOS, I think tomorrow is the Eden election, so those people that know about Eden will know what I'm talking about. Tomorrow is the Eden elections, I think pretty early for us, about 6 a.m. But I want to talk about Bitcoin tonight because I think Bitcoin's a very important thing to talk about, especially in these times. There's so many things talking or leading towards Bitcoin. You know, the world economic situation, wars, the fact that the US dollar is being challenged now by China and Russia, maybe coming up with their own currency together. The fact that information age is making it so people are more aware of things like money, excessive money being printed. You know, when I first learned about these things back in the 90s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, when I was growing up, there was no internet, and you didn't know about the Federal Reserve, you didn't know about anything else, you didn't know about any of this other stuff. So this stuff's all becoming, you know, in social media days, times, people creating so much content, there's a need for something else besides printing money, because printing money just isn't going to be working very much longer. So I think it's a really important time to talk about Bitcoin, and I want to start talking about Bitcoin every night. And I'm going to do something kind of unique. I'm going to do two topics with this channel because I don't want to just do Bitcoin, and I don't want to just talk about proof of stake cryptocurrencies like EOS and Ethereum. I want to also talk about something that I enjoy, which is sports. And mainly, I'm from the university. I went to the University of Nebraska, and I grew up in western Nebraska. So I'm going to start making some videos about the Cornhusker football team because I enjoy Cornhusker football. So if you see my title and it says Nebraska football in it, it's not going to be about Bitcoin. But if you see a Bitcoin or EOS or Ethereum title, then you'll know it's about cryptocurrencies. But over the past few years, I think I've put up about probably around 1,500 videos. Most of them about EOS, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies. And I think of all those videos that I put up, the most important video that I ever made was a video, and it was right before Bitcoin took a big jump. I think Bitcoin's around 5,000. And I made a video about buying. Everybody should be trying to at least accumulate one Bitcoin in their lifetime as a security, as kind of a security blanket, security measure. Just try to get one Bitcoin set aside. And at the time it was around $5,000. And later on, you know, of course, Elon Musk starts buying Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin went all the way up to $60,000. So that would have been a pretty good idea. But I think about that one video, and it's probably, of all the videos I made, I think the most critical video I made at the most critical time, which was buying Bitcoin at 5,000, right before it went to almost 60,000. We have seen a huge drop since then. We've seen Bitcoin go all the way back to, a little bit around 15,000, something like that. So Bitcoin's taken a huge plunge, and of course now it's more affordable. Now it's around 28,000, 27,000. So now it's way more affordable. So I think that principle applies now. You know, more people can afford it. More people can afford something like 27,000 as opposed to 60,000. So I think, in my opinion, it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to just throw some money together, quit playing the lottery, quit doing things that waste money, and just buy one Bitcoin. Just hang on to one Bitcoin. And I think over a period of time, you're going to be very happy with that. Because of all the things I'm talking about, because of the fact that we're in a time where they're going to move to a digital currency. I'm sorry if people like it or don't not like it. There is going to be digital currencies in the future. And they're going to be centralized digital currencies. They're going to be digital currencies that are going to be on the blockchain, and they're going to make sure, they're going to know every transaction you make. I know that's really troubling to so many people, including to myself, that you're going to be on the blockchain with your transactions. And maybe, I mean, I'm not talking about anything in a way to incite or to imply anything, but it's interesting that a few guys, mainly the guy from the Cash App who got killed here recently up in San Francisco, tragically got stabbed when there's tons of cameras around and they don't even have a suspect. That's kind of troublesome. But not only that guy, but there's been a few other people, pioneers in the cryptocurrency industry that have recently passed away. In fact, you can just Google that if you'd like to. I'm not going to go into it, but you can just Google that. So some of that makes me think that those early adopters to cryptocurrencies were very decentralized in nature. And of course, when the government comes out with centralized digital currency, they're going to want everybody to accept it with open arms. And of course, there'll be probably a few people, and I don't know the backgrounds of the people that recently passed away, but I don't know what their backgrounds were not, or if they were decentralized or centralized kind of blockchain people. But anyway, it's interesting. I'll just leave it at that. But what I was going to say is that we are in a time of information, and in a time of information, there's only one thing. No, that was funny. There's only one thing that was funny. I don't know if you caught that or not. There's some girls walking across the street, and this guy had an interesting sound on his car. Very interesting sound on his car when these girls walked by. That was really funny. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, yeah, this would be, I lost my train of thought too. So this would be an interesting time to pick up a Bitcoin if you haven't done so already. And also, watch the Bitcoin market, because I think it's been down for quite a while. I think it's time for a resurgence. It's a time for something to take off and something to happen in the Bitcoin space. Very interesting times, like I said, very, very interesting times. And I think somebody was telling me about FedNow. FedNow said that they're definitely talking about doing a centralized cryptocurrency, centralized a CBCD, a central bank digital currency. So look for that to happen. It's going to happen very soon. I think an entry point, and this is the thing. And I mean, I've done this channel for so long. I know how many people understand cryptocurrency, and I've stood on this same spot for so many years. I'm showing you a little bit around. I'm Carlsbad, California. I've stood on the same spot for so many years. I can tell you enough people have stopped me and said, hey, what are you making a video about? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And almost nobody, very few people understand when I say, hey, I'm making a cryptocurrency video, what I'm talking about. So cryptocurrency is pretty much unknown for so many people. Very few people understand it. Very few people know it. There's going to have to be, a good way to learn it right now would just be to buy a little Bitcoin and watch that. So, and start to explore the blockchain and understand the blockchain, because it definitely is coming. And it's interesting to me too that the new Bitcoin, or the new not the new Bitcoin, the new central bank digital currency will be centralized. So, of course, EOS and Ethereum are more, or the block producers are chosen as opposed to Bitcoin, where they're not. So it won't be a proof of work blockchain that will be, for the future of central bank digital currencies. It'll be something that is centralized. But you can certainly understand and see the workings of how blockchain works just by owning a little bit of Bitcoin. So like I say, I made a lot of videos in the past, and hopefully make a lot more in the future. And I'd say the most important video I ever made was just encouraging people to save and purchase and hold and just put it away and forget it. One Bitcoin, one Bitcoin, about $28,000 right now. I know that's a lot of money, but even if you could buy $1,000 of the Bitcoin or $2,000 of the Bitcoin, I think that would be money well spent, especially at these prices. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to go much higher. I'm looking for a lot of things to go much higher. I'm looking especially for Bitcoin to go much higher, simply because of what's going on in the world today. There's going to be some sort of change as far as world currency is concerned. I mean, you got enough other countries besides the United States that are starting to join up together. Of course, China already has a digital currency. Of course, Russia is in the United States are at odds right now. So they're looking to find other trading partners, and of course, they're not going to be using the US dollar. And there's going to be some side effects to that. One of the things, if they quit using the US dollar, is that we're going to have rampant inflation in the United States, because if China doesn't want to, make goods and services or produce, everything that we use, every item that we use, most of what I think we consume today in this day and age comes from China. If they no longer want our US dollars for their products that they produce, they're just going to raise the prices, because they don't want the dollar, because it keeps decreasing in value. So if they keep doing that, that's going to just make the price of everything rocket. I mean rocket. Go sky high. The other side effect, which was probably a positive one, is it's going to stimulate jobs in this country. Because if we're not buying stuff from China, we're going to have to start making it ourselves. So you're going to see more manufacturing done in the United States. And that's going to be expensive. So either way, either if China continues to supply the United States with a lot of the products that we use, they'll raise the prices because of the amount of dollars being spent or dollars being produced, just printed. And also, if we go ahead, if they quit sending us stuff, then we're going to have to make it ourselves, which is going to make prices higher too. Because anybody that lives in the United States knows if you make it in the United States, it's expensive. Taxes are high. Labor is high. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of things that makes things very expensive in the United States. So if you're making things in the United States, it's not going to be cheap. So anyway, hopefully I'll continue making these videos, stuff that I want to continue to talk about, and you can continue to watch the Bitcoin market. If you want to get involved with it, it's very easy. I mean, they've made it so easy. I mean, if I were opening an account today and I wanted to buy a little Bitcoin, I would do it on Coinbase, simply because Coinbase is a New York Stock Exchange traded company. So they are under the Security and Exchange Commission rules and regulations as far as the New York Stock Exchange. And Coinbase is pretty easy to operate. If you're on the internet at all, if you understand anything about opening an account, it's about as simple as it gets. And it's easy to do things on Coinbase. So I like Coinbase. Jump on Coinbase, buy yourself a little Bitcoin, even if it's $100, and kind of start learning this, because this is the direction we're taking. Like I say, of all the videos I've ever made, the one video I think was the best video, or the video that I am probably the most fond of, is the one when I said buy one Bitcoin when the price was $5,000. And within, I think, about 6 months of that video, it went up to $60,000. I think we could be in another time pretty close to that. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.